Buon pomeriggio a tutti. Siamo nel
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. We are in the Motor Valley or Lender Motors. Let's talk about design. So supercars are beautiful, powerful, well, they also have to be beautiful and especially beautiful, right? So I have the pleasure to have here with me four great masters of design. Valter Silver, he managed plenty of style center. Horacio Pagani, CEO Pagani. Kevin Race, director, Pininfarina Styling Center. Good afternoon, everyone. And Carsten Monarian, head of design, Ital Design. I hope I have not mispronounced your name, Carsten. First question. Of course, we need to consider the current context, so the coronavirus pandemic that has changed the life of everyone here. I would like to start from Horacio Pagani, so he's based here in Modena. So my first question for him is, how can design help us forget the crisis or get out of COVID-19? Do you think design can give us a helpful, beautiful contribution? First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Would like to thank Walter, my friends, and all the guys connected, and thank you for being virtually here. So what is the mission of design? Well, I think that the mission of design is to improve the quality of our life. So this is our job, and it's a beautiful job. I mean, improving people's life. So we need to try and understand which our main needs and how creativity can meet the needs of people. We can do this with creativity, engagement, commitment, and endeavor, so that life can become much better and filled with beautiful emotions. Well, I think that our approach is a very unique one, very serious, but it has to be a very positive one, filled with enthusiasm and excitement. Well, our way of working cannot, let's say, be changed negatively too much because of the current situation. So we have to keep smiling, so to say. The world can be an interesting, charming place, also and even in the current situation. Well, I think that design can really help us feed our dreams. I mean, we all dream here to think of a very positive way. I have a question for Valter Silver, and the question for you is the following. Of course, it has to do with the new technological trends. So until a while ago, we kept talking about technology. Now people talk about coronavirus only, so we need to see what's going to happen on the market. Now, my question for you is, what is the impact of these new technological trends onto the evolution of design? Now, if I had answered this question some months ago, I mean before Christmas, my answer would have been different. So, well, back to your question. Well, I think that, this pandemic, I mean, this incredible, disruptive force, and now this has really ruined our bodies and our soul. I'm sure that we will change our mindset and we will also change mobility as an idea. So in terms of technology trends, I mean, I'm not talking about going backwards or, innovation and technologies won't be downsized. I mean, digital will continue to be digital. But I'm sure that we have to, to go back to some analog systems, if you will. So we will become the owners of our life. So for some months, we've been, spending time at home. We now feel we want to move. Now, moving is not just, some, wellness or some gym or some physical exercise. I mean, 15, 30 minutes a day. We will do this, throughout the day. So I'd like to consider the near future as a post-digital future. So technologies and digitization will be used at best. But again, in my personal opinion, design will be applied to many other disciplines, so much more than environment or, sustainability. For example, psychology, communication, empathy, mental hygiene. This is what Horacio Pagani said before. Of course, so we have to comply with ethics and aesthetics because beauty can save us. Beauty brings about good things and beautiful things for us around us in the world. I agree, with no beauty, well, we cannot live. And in Italy, we are so lucky. We have so much beauty around us in every single sector and industry. Back to digital, this is the first digital Motor Valley Fest. And I have a question for Carsten for Ital Design. Now, Ital Design was one of the first, design companies to introduce, if you will, a new virtual simulation working way. The simulator is one-to-one. So my question is, how does digital systems influence a creative process when you design a car, for example?
Yeah, nice question. I think our work is a really, really beautiful work. We like it so much. We are so involved. And it was also possible to see it in the last weeks and months that design was not stopping during all the time. We were just going on, and you see also the passion with the people working on it. Also, when you're like saying working remote, but the communication with the client, the communication for projects is so important. It is so important to have the direct contact as good as possible. You have to understand the clients, you have to understand their needs. When you're working with them on a kind of strategy, design strategy, if you're working with them on a design DNA, you really need the communication between, and then the work gets really, really good. Important is that also during all the years, we always try to use the newest technology, like also being one of the first ones having the big Powerwall here in-house. We continue doing this. We invest also that our young designers can use new software, trying different kinds of modeling. And so the communication to the client gets better. So if we are working more digital, more 3D, we have the possibility to communicate much better to the client because we can explain better the product and where it is being used later. So we have to force much more in this field.
Certo.
Okay, thank you, Carsten. I'm now asking a question to Kevin. So there's an absolutely burning question for Pininfarina. So the question is on the link with this magic place, this Motor Valley, so the Modena or Emilia-Romagna region. So Pininfarina in the past has made plenty of designs, so in general, but of course you've also designed many, many different cars made here in the Motor Valley. So Kevin, can you tell me how you managed, to creation this magic relationship in the past, and do you think this can be further developed in the future? Thank you.
Ci sono 2 o 3 segreti che senza questi segreti non poteva creare queste macchine iconiche. E come sappiamo tutti, Pininfarina ha creato macchine iconiche per 90 anni.
Pininfarina has created iconic cars for 90 years, and this was due to the vision and to the approach actually of their directors, from Battista Pininfarina all the way to today. So design was not only, if you will, an aesthetic exercise, before Pininfarina. So of course, we have, if you will, complied with technology, but at the same time, we have included new functions and new practical items. And once again, we've been able to drive design. So innovation was the main driver for us. And, I think that, Pininfarina has always attached so much importance and, to relationships. We've built strong relationships, long-term leaderships and relationships with the owners of those companies who then built iconic cars in the Motor Valley in Emilia-Romagna. So again, this means that we've been able to create trust, and all of this has given an opportunity to Pininfarina. So we've always been able to define and redefine the right proportions. Because once again, Pininfarina was able to influence or to have an impact also on the technical aspects of cars. And this is the reason why Pininfarina was able to create a pure, timeless cars, I mean, with plenty of, let's say, invention and innovation. So long-term relationships gave us the opportunity to learn from our customers. This means they've been able to hit their tasks, and then they met their, needs, and also made their dreams come true. So once again, one of the key words here is timeless. Okay, these cars and these lines are pure and timeless. If you get closer a little bit, you can see that there's plenty of manual work, manual art in every single piece that we make. So I think that there's an incredible richness of all of these parts and elements, and only apparently you think this design is simple. This design, once again, seems to be magical because you don't see it at first sight, but it is always something so much highly appreciated as of today as well. So this is the reason why we can say that science and art work together. So what we do is interpret a brand new philosophy that we share around the world for the modern world. But at the same time, there's one point we don't have to forget. All of these cars have been specially made by extraordinary, unique, one-of-a-kind men and women with an incredible vision and an incredible sense of styling and beauty. So this is the real place of beauty, place of good taste. It's difficult to keep doing this and to do this today. So, but anyway, this is not a secret. I mean, we just have to, stick to our, mindset. And of course, it is possible for us to create, once again, iconic cars for the present, but also for the future. Okay, so this is my personal hope. You talked about secrets, just like the very good, ingredients, in our kitchens. Kevin, thank you so much, and thank you for the effort because you spoke Italian. Back to Horacio. Horacio, what about the evolution of the design of the car interiors? I mean, you now built, real masterpieces, okay, so unique cars. So you represent a sort of an exception. Do you think that technology today can help us, for example, infotainment and onboard electronics? Do you think that this will have an impact on cockpit design? And how can your cars change in the future? Well, let's say that we've always, designed interiors. In many cases, they are actually very rich in details and, trimmings, but, this is what our customers want. I know we make, unique and special cars, so at the same time, we have unique and special interiors. We have to make sure that, maybe, if you will, we like a sort of an analog car, at least in the interiors. And we will avoid, too many screens, too many displays. I mean, this is what usually happens in today's cars. I mean, they have a big dashboard with a big panel, and we still like to see, the traditional clocks or clock-like style. We would like to have, color therapy in our cars. And the project was to have even the aromatherapy, okay, so scents and, once again, if you will, colors inside our cars. And so once again, we have the opportunity for our customers to use the scent or the fragrance that they prefer together with the colors they prefer, okay, so aromatherapy and chromotherapy. I remember with my Lamborghini car, I was there, and I was asked, well, you've been, the owner of this car for 4 years, but look at the mileage. And I say yes. But every time, you know, I come back from work, I switch on the radio. It was the Countach, maybe you remember. I mean, the hi-fi system was not a one of a kind. But, you know, this person just enjoyed, I mean, the car inside his garage. I mean, before going to dinner, he just, you know, used to sit on the car, just enjoying some time there, okay, without driving it. And the previous speaker from Ital Design talked about the importance of, you know, meeting the requirements, even the needs of customers. Steve Jobs said, well, let's think with the mind of our customers. So most of the things he did was very successful. So he was also able and successful in thinking as if he was a customer. We try and do the same thing. Of course, we try and add our good taste, so the top quality products that we do, and all of this can be summarized in just one word: design. Thank you, Horacio. I have a question for Valter on to the digital systems. I mean, you have managed many important centers, including the Volkswagen. So the digitization, in my opinion, was, well, a key driver, a key element of the company's philosophy. So do you think that digitization has an impact on creativity? And do you think this process can be facilitated by digital systems when we talk about cars? Well, I started, I mean, digitization in Alfa Romeo when we made the 156 or Nuvola, so iconic cars. Then I'm fond of innovation, and then software programs, and then computers became better and better. This means that now we have extraordinary tools. The real problem is the management of today's computers. It is true, you can have a perfect rendered image. You can also have totally virtual projects. You can see them, you can change them, you can edit them, you can almost touch them with, you know, augmented reality and virtual reality. So it is also true that, you know, there's also, as usual, the other side of the coin. The risk is that these tools will generate a sort of a consistency, I mean, a globalization of lines, so of the surfaces, and this is a big risk, a big danger. I think that behind a great design, so you can, you know, draw by hand, you can draw with your computers, analog or digital. You have to have a great designer and a great engineer. This makes the difference. We're now celebrating the first 40 years of Panda. So if Panda had been designed, well, 40 years ago, or 20 years, or even today, what is important is the hands of the designers, Giugiaro and Martorani, because once again, if you want to have a perfect design, you need a wonderful designer. I do agree with this beautiful slogan, Walter. Let me go back to Carsten in Ital Design. I have a question on next step. So, as we said before, you have been the pioneers in virtual reality. So, Carsten, which kind of investments are you making now to make a further step forward in the development of design for cars?
Yes, that's an important point. We were working strongly with the other departments to understand how we can give faster the real products to the client. So we're in the phase now that the client maybe was choosing the design. He was looking at the 3D data and everything. He saw it on the big screen. But the most important is to sit in it one day and to understand how the dimensions are and how does he feel inside. So we did the following with the ergonomic department, with the EE department, with the pre-development department and the design. We were building up conceptual seating bug, we are calling it, where you can adjust the car, let's say your product, to all the dimensions you need, two-seater sports car or to up six-seater, let's say, bigger van. You sit inside with the glasses, and you can, the first time you can see your environment around with you. So this tool is so amazing from the daily use that it is really helping to make the decision making much faster. We are using, for instance, 1 or 2 days to adjust it to a certain client, and then we can sit in it, move the things around, try it. It's kind of a mock-up, but on the same time, you have the data all the time that you can check how the dimensions are, how is ingress to get in and out the car, how is the roof lining, and then also maybe the question, how is your product to the concurrence model? So we have all the data there and we can compare and check this. So this is really cool. It works so well. And I think this is a big investment, and it's a very good step to go faster, and also to have this better, let's say, human feeling inside your product.
You are right. I mean, the time is so important for us, but also for large organizations and car makers. So speeding up the development time is absolutely fundamental. So, Carsten, thank you so much. I do agree. It is a very important investment. Back to you, Kevin. So back to Pininfarina. You design plenty of cars from other OEMs because, I mean, this is your know-how. So you design timeless cars. This is an incredible skill, an incredible capacity, if you will. But I think there's a sort of something weird, strange. I mean, you design a car, but the car is not for you. It is for another car maker. Is this difficult to do? And second question, how do you make sure that every time your designs are different and unique? Well, wow, this is a wonderful question. Okay, let's say we've been doing this kind of design, Italian design, for 60 or 70 years, and it is still a hot topic. So it's still an open question. In the past 30 years, especially in the past 30 years, people are now talking about brand. Okay, so the so-called sentiment or the feelings of a company is represented now by a brand name, which is even more important than looking for a new shape, a different shape, a unique design, or something never seen before, or unprecedented drawings. So what we do today, and I really mean everyone here, so including people working in OEMs or car makers, well, we all want to find a new way to interpret and understand, the design philosophy in a new way. So this means that here for Pininfarina, well, this means that we need to really understand the new spirit around. So the new feelings, the so-called, sentiment, which is something that you breathe and you feel when you visit the OEMs. Of course, I have not only worked in Pininfarina, so I have work kind of a long background in other companies. It takes a while before you really understand the sentiment or the feelings of every single company before, grabbing, a pencil and, drawing some lines. It is difficult not to make confusion or confusing, different types of designs. I think that, before drawing something, you really have to go through research and investigation. You really need to understand who you are working for. You need to understand the individual, unique spirit of every single company or every single customer. In my personal case. In that case, I will, use all of my secrets for them so that I can create cars. So, of course, I design the car, but this car and that design is done exactly for that company, and all of this is made in a unique way. Once again, it's always been difficult, but this is part of design. And for us, this is fundamental, mission critical, because, of course, we want to, we don't want to lose customers. And at the same time, we create new dreams for new companies and new OEMs at the same time. Okay? Thank you, Kevin. I think we have 5 minutes to go. Now, because we have so many different people fond with cars or supercars, many young people, maybe they are watching you, they are listening to us because they want to develop their own career in the automotive industry. There are many schools of design around the world, well, especially in Italy. So Italy is once again a special place when it comes to schools of design. So this is a very short question, and I need a short answer from you. Which kind of advice can you give young people who want to become designers? Okay, Horacio. Okay, well, some advice for a young designer. Well, first of all, let me repeat again that this is a beautiful, extraordinary job. It requires plenty of efforts, plenty of time, maybe sacrifice. You really have to be very disciplined and strict. At the same time, you have to be very humble and curious. I think that this applies to every single job, but even more so when you are a designer. I mean, you have a target to reach every single day, okay? So you never reach the finish line, as I like to say. Yes, there are very interesting schools in Italy, for example, in Turin, but also in Modena. And, there are some guys, I mean, getting their diploma from a local technical school here in Modena. I also met talented people in Turin, including the Polytechnic of Milan. There they have a beautiful course on design, and they are really very well prepared. I mean, they have top skills. They learn how to be a designer, but they also receive plenty of technical information. Now, this is basically the very important, I mean, foundation. You know, when you look for a job today, when you start working, of course, customers want you to design masterpieces, okay? So you have to be great, you have to be fast-paced. So you really have to be familiar with technical processes. You have to know the basics of, production processes, okay? This is my very small contribution for young designers. Thank you, Horacio. Valter, what about your suggestions? Please be a little shorter. I just share 100% of what Horacio said, okay? I won't repeat exactly what he said. Maybe just one little thing. You really have to be very, very humble, okay? Because the first thing you have to do is to learn from the real masters, okay? So cars, just because of their identity, is a moving object. It's a very special, very complex product. So you have plenty of technical information, engineering information, ergonomics, aerodynamics. You have to learn all the pieces a car is made of. So once again, you need to take your time. I keep telling young designers, when I hold courses or when I have lectures, I tell them, please remember that you will be successful one day after 100 days of being unsuccessful, okay? I do agree with you. Same question for Carsten. What is your question? What is your point of view?
I would say start with a pencil and work hard every day, every day. Do more than the others are doing, be the best, and really try. You need to love this job, and then it doesn't matter if you really take long time. It is important also to understand your product. So you have to understand how it works, how the volumes are and everything. I was going through the school of Art Center. I had the chance to work there as a student, and when you had, they were asking you for over the night for 50 sketches, and when you were arriving with 49, you were out. So it's all about practice, 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 and just keep on working.
Mi ha colpito.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this recommendation. I mean, a pencil. The world is so digital today, but you are right. We all start with a pen or with a pencil. Okay, what about your recommendation to create a timeless design? Well, I do share what Carsten said. I mean, it's a question of practice. Just like playing music, there will always be someone better than you, okay? So you think you are great, but there is always someone somewhere who is better or even much better than you. So rehearsing and then testing, trying and trying again. I'm thinking of, for example, Photoshops or some, let's say, editing. As soon as there's an error or there's a mistake, you can undo, so you can do a sort of a correction, okay? In my opinion, today's designers also have to be able to study the three dimensions, okay? So, for example, when they go to school, please get all the opportunities that you have so as to really understand, you know, the truth and the shapes of truth, okay? So don't just be happy of, you know, shapes on a piece of paper or in a computer. So the 3D, three dimensions, this is absolutely fundamental. You also have to study the structure of products, because when you go to an OEM or a car maker, it is very difficult, I mean, to turn, I mean, the drawing into a real prototype, I mean a physical prototype. Some time ago, I remember that it took months, maybe years, to turn, you know, a design into a tangible product. Okay, so this is much quicker today. Please do study 3D systems. 3D dimensions and physical dimensions. So you're right, this is fundamental, especially for a car, which is a moving object. Really would like to say thank you, grazie, and thank you for all of the participants into this digital roundtable. Also would like to thank the audience. Please do, well, stay in touch and don't miss the future, well, let's say, webinars and meetings in this beautiful digital festival. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, thank you.